So in today's video, I'm going to talk about a subject which is very important for scholars in general and for students in particular, and that is the subject of minimalism. So essentially, there is a very fundamental question as to what do you really need as a minimum. And so I will give you some of my concepts about what are the things you really need, and then whatever else is there you build from this. Now this particular list of things has come to me because of my various travels throughout the world. So if you embark on short visits to different countries, or you spend a few years in a certain country and then move to a different country and so on, you want to keep yourself portable. That's a very important word, portable, because that means that you are not tied down to too many things, such as real estate or such as having a bunch of cars or pets or things like that, and you can make your move at any time you want. So this gives you portability. So one of the things which you understand from this minimalistic lifestyle is that you actually need a very few things, and therefore this in turn will bring down your cost of living substantially. So let's start with this video. So I think the most important thing you need is a phone and a charger, and then apps on the phone. So this particular set of things will make sure that you can do a lot of tasks which are required in the modern world, from checking your email to checking YouTube videos to getting a cab to booking your flights to staying in a place to renting an Airbnb or whatever else you need to do. Now the next thing you need to do is you need to get a phone plan and a Wi-Fi. So this will make sure that your phone is actually active, and Wi-Fi is generally there in many places, and it can be even free of cost in airports and in university campuses, but you may need to sometime get a phone. Now there have been situations on short visits when I didn't even bother to get a phone. I could function completely with only the Wi-Fi which was present in the guest places of staying as well as in the university. But for certain tasks like calling people, you may still need a phone, but most of those tasks can be done on FaceTime, Messenger, WhatsApp, video calls or calls. Now the next thing is the laptop and a laptop charger, and this is critical because you essentially do most of your work in terms of software development. Now whether you are writing papers or a book, or you are creating PowerPoint slides or writing Word documents or making videos, you need the phone and the laptop to get this particular set of software creating tasks done, or we can call it content creation. Now once you have these basic things, the phone, the laptop and the respective chargers, you need to get a room to stay, or if you don't have a room, at least you have a bed to stay. So again, here you can go for a guest house type of situation, you can go for a dorm in some cases, or you can have a particular short stay type of place which is there in many universities and so on. Now if you are staying for a longer period of time, you may need to sign a lease of 6 months or 1 year and stay in a particular place. So again, in all these cases, you have the choice of renting an apartment, or you have the choice of sharing an apartment with some people. So both these options are possible for you, and you can check out the classifiers to figure out if you can actually share an apartment with some people, especially if you are a single person. Now the next thing you need is a bank, and essentially an account in a bank is required to do certain transactions. So essentially you may receive a salary, and therefore you need to deposit this particular salary directly, and then you would need a debit card so that you can access this particular situation. You also need a bank account to transfer any money you may have in a different place to this place where you are going. The next thing you need is a credit card, and this may take some time, and this entails a situation where you may have moved to a country and you want to stay there for a long period of time, so you need a credit card here. And in the case of credit card, I would suggest that you get one credit card which is a MasterCard and one which is a Visa, and then you may get some more credit cards like the Discover or the Amex card if necessary. Now, of course, you need some books, and these books are probably your fundamental books in which you deal with. So if you are an expert in a certain field, and you may have a collection of 10 to 20 books at a minimum, which are the books in your field, and you may want access to these books all the time. So it's a good idea to purchase these books and take them with you wherever you go. Beside these, you need some clothes and shoes and so on. Now, as far as clothes are concerned, I would say that you have a minimum set of clothes. So maybe you can have 7 sets of clothes for 7 days. And to give variety, you can choose 7 different colors here. And then if you are a guy, it is quite easy. You have 7 different shirts and trousers, or 7 different t-shirts and jeans and so on, depending on your particular predilection. Now, if you are in a place for a long period of time, then you may want to get some mechanism to trade in the market. So this is something which is useful for people if they want to generate some money on the side. So again, you need a demat type of account or a brokerage account. Now, beside this, you would need the bare minimum or essentials in terms of toothpaste, brush, soap, shampoo, which are the different toiletries that you need to make sure that you are cleaned and groomed one day. And I would also add the comb here, which is very important because I have forgotten that every now and then, and that is not a good idea. The next thing is you need a laundry and detergent. So again, in some cases, there may be a laundry where you stay, or you can also go to a laundromat and you can wash your clothes there. You need some basic utensils such as a frying pan and a boiling pan. You may need a knife, spoon, plate, fork, and so on. So again, this bare minimum set is required to even function from a room and a basic kitchen, and if you have access to a grocery store. You need some basic stationery such as pen, pencil, and paper. Then you need your passport and driver license if you have one, and any forms of further cards which you have, which show that you are a citizen of a country or a member of a certain university or certain professional society. Then one very important aspect is you need some health coverage, and this is important to keep in mind if you are going to different countries around the world. And you should also take a set of basic medicines with you, for example, for pains, painkillers, or things like that. Now, one way to exercise everywhere is to take a yoga mat, and yoga is the best means of exercise because it is very low cost, and essentially you can do it from the comfort of your room. Then beside all this, you need a suitcase and backpack, which you essentially pack up all your things and take with you. And of course, finally, you need a lock to lock your belongings, and you may need an adapter to change between the different voltages present in different countries. Now, these were concepts I came up with based on the fact that you may be going to conferences, short trips, or even sabbaticals every now and then, and these are some things which you may need. Now, if you extrapolate this concept substantially and you become somewhat of a nomadic scholar, then you will realize that you don't need much else in life beside this particular set. And if you start practicing this, you will realize that you can live a fairly minimalistic philosophy. And essentially, when I think about it, the most important of these things which I have listed out here is possibly your smartphone, because you can do a plethora of things using your smartphone. The next most important thing could possibly be the laptop. And beside that, all the remaining things which you have, such as your clothes, such as your toiletries and so on, they can generally be obtained at various places. So you don't even need to carry these with you all the time. These are certain things which you can buy and then which you can dispose of if you keep a fairly low end type of situation. Also, as far as car is concerned, I would strongly recommend that you do not buy a car unless you are really settled down in some place. And this is because a car becomes an issue in terms of insurance cost, in terms of maintenance, in terms of different aspects about keeping it, about it being prone to people stealing it, people stealing its tires and so on. So again, if you can rent cars every now and then by using your app on the phone so that you get the car there, you get a person to drive it and you just pay the money off from your debit card or credit card or your bank account, then that is probably one of the best situations, and this can be done across different countries, which is sometimes very useful. So these were some of the concepts I came up with in regard to a fairly minimalistic life. And I think beside these, whatever else you buy is essentially beyond minimalism, and there is nothing wrong with that. I'm not making any value judgment here, but keep in mind that if you plan to again move somewhere else, maybe to a new position, a new university, a new job, then you may have to discard many of these things, and it's very difficult to get good prices when you sell most things here. And therefore it's a good idea to keep your life minimalistic and then to go somewhere else and then keep buying new things there. So essentially keep a small amount of things which you need, and then rest of the things, as far as possible, rent them and then dispose them. So I hope this video was useful to you, and stay tuned to my channel for more videos on such topics. Thank you very much.